be said before everybody else gets to speak, and I'll shut up, is to speak about events and events in comic books. Because Archie knows how to handle events in comic books better than any other publisher that's currently in this building, I think.
I'm sorry, would you say that again?
I think that Archie knows how to handle events better than any other publisher in this building, and that is not to slight anyone else here. But think about this. When a giant event comes out from any other publisher, what happens? There's a lot of comics, but you don't hear about it on Stephen Colbert. You don't hear about it on Jay Leno, you don't hear about it on Conan. But every one of the events that has happened in the last year or so from this company has been mentioned in those places. And I think that's something that needs to be acknowledged.
Again, let's speak faster. I can do this a little faster.
All right. From new technology to, I guess, classic technology books. So I know everyone's talking a lot about like comic books here, but at Penguin Young Readers Group, we're working with the guys at Archie to create a program of Betty and Veronica middle grade novels and a line of like Archie and Jughead humor books. And similarly, it's, you know, as much as, you know, where everyone's trying to say, oh, teach people to read through comic books, you know, we are using, you know, trying to get, taking these traditional characters and trying to get kids who maybe aren't, you know, reading, parents especially, to say, oh, here's Archie, here's Betty and Veronica, here are characters that we know, we trust, here's a brand we know and we trust, let's buy these books for our kids. And so we're creating, especially the Betty and Veronica books. They are, you know, middle grade novels. It's a series of original stories that are geared towards, they're contemporary stories, and they are, sorry. It's a little nervous up here.
You're doing fine, don't worry about it.
So we're doing those books, and they are also doing a series of like humor books. So I'm just going to pass it on.
Just a quick question, are there spot illustrations in these books, or are these totally prose?
The humor books will have illustrations, and there will be, you know, jokes and gags and whatnot. The novels will be straight text. Straight text novels.
Okay, cool, thank you. I can't tell if we're getting the lovely Mike Colorito or Victor there.
Victor and I tell a lot of bad jokes. We'll go right to Mark.
Oh, we're going to go right to Mark. Cool, okay. So we're having the lovely Mark Friedman.
I didn't know you cared, but thank you. They're still writing their notes. My name, as you just said, is Mark Friedman. I'm head of licensing and merchandising for Archie Comics. And I think the first thing I just want to tell you is that, and it was best said by Mel Brooks with his yogurt character out of Spaceballs, it's about the merchandising. But it really is not. It's really about creating great stories and great entertainment. And I can only do as much as this panel can do in creating wonderful, inspiring books and entertainment and tell fantastic stories. It starts with the stories. And I thank John and Nancy and everyone else on this panel for that. So just to be very, very brief, started about a year ago. I'm proud to announce that we have a lot of merchandising about to hit the shelves, mainly in apparel, sleepwear, footwear, hats in North America through two partners, Hybrid Apparel and J-Corp up in Canada. We have just signed and ready to come out a license with a company called Sticker U that's creating stickers of every Archie character, static clings, bumper stickers, you name it. You'll be able to go onto the Archie.com site and order everything, and then it gets shipped to you within 7 days.
Here, here. All right.
Well, the contract says 7 days. If you don't get it in 7 days, let me know. One of the most exciting things we recently did. Remember, we just started with this. We have signed a global license to develop Archie characters in lottery games. So there will be lottery ticket games first in the United States starting next summer. Betty, Veronica, probably holding up all sorts of prizes and cash. And it's a chance not only to collect the cards, but you could actually win millions of dollars. So that'll be launched state by state starting this next summer, 2011. And you'll see some really unique artwork for that. And then last, and very quickly, we're taking Archie globally. We've signed deals in the Far East, Australia, New Zealand, as well as Mexico. So lots of product will be hitting the shelves very, very shortly.
Cheers here. All right. Okay, I'd like to open up a couple of things here because, I mean, you guys have been so good. You've been listening and taking all this information. Oh, well, John has something else. I always have to go with John because, you know, he's the man.
I just want to celebrate something here on this panel, and that is Victor Gorelick, our co-president and editor-in-chief, just celebrated his 52nd anniversary at Archie Comics this past week. So we need to acknowledge Victor, and also in the audience is the great Archie artist Stan Goldberg. Stan, thank you for everything that you've done for Archie Comics. You and Victor are the lifeblood of what everyone else here talked about. And we thank both of you guys very, very much.
We'll be selling Archie tissues for everybody. All right, so I just want to say, I want to give you folks a chance to fire some stuff at us, and we'll throw things at you too. So I'm not going to move in one direction or another, but since your hand went up first,
yes, Tristan.
Project from the diaphragm side.
Yes, thank you.
Yes.
Tristan Resnick from TSZ News. I'm wondering if we can get a little bit of clarification on the project that Ian Flynn will be working on, the Sonic writer Ian Flynn. That hasn't been discussed very much in this panel.
I'm going to let Mike handle that one.
Actually, Ian is a writer of both Sonic the Hedgehog and Sonic Universe monthly comic books. He's also going to handle the launch for Mega Man. So we have, if you don't know Mega Man, he's a lot like Sonic, where it's a blue character fighting a bunch of robots. So it worked once for 15 years. It's going to keep going. He's also working on one of the characters that's going to show up there, Cosmo the Merry Martian. And Cosmo is a character from the 50s. It's one of the funniest things ever. When I first started working at Archie, I was like, Victor, this Cosmo thing is awesome. And he goes, yeah, it's one of my favorite books ever. So years later, now we have all this creative freedom. Ian's going to take over, help us launch Cosmo back to the comic book stands.
All right, there's a gentleman here who had his hand up. Ah, okay, take you, sir.
Hey, this is a question for Michael. I'm really enjoying what you're doing, and I used to read Archie comics as a kid, and I'm like shocked that I've started picking them up again. And I'm very, yeah, I think the best is yet to come from all of you guys, absolutely. But I think it's so interesting what you're doing with Mr. Lodge in the Life with Archie and how you've mapped out his story. And I was wondering if you wanted to talk a little bit about the choices you made to sort of make him what appears to be the central villain in the piece. But I'm wondering if you could talk about the future of that character and what you have planned and why you decided to do that with the character.
Did you ever see Indecent Proposal?
You know,
By the way, is that a Robin shirt or a Billy Batson shirt?
it's a Robin shirt.
Ah, okay, good. Mr. Lodge is, see, I don't want to give too much away, so let me just say Mr. Lodge is going to be a piece, an enigmatic piece of the puzzle of the Archie multiverse as things progress. Things in the world of Life with Archie, I have to tell you, are not always exactly what they seem to be. There is a different and larger role that Mr. Lodge just may be playing. And so I would say keep your eye both on Dilton and on Mr. Lodge, and know in advance that there is actually a method to the madness. But that was a great question. Thank you.
Next question. Yes, ma'am.
I have the iPod app and love it. But my only question is, as an English teacher myself, are you worried at all about the negative impact it will have on the actual print version of the comic?
No, actually, what we've seen from a lot of different, what we've seen in a lot of different examples with that issue. That's an issue that we deal with every day. We live and breathe that issue. And there's some things that we're going to be able to talk about in the very near future about some things we're doing to combat that we can't speak about here today. But in general, we have actually seen that on multiple cases with multiple things from Archie and other publishers actually increase the print in a lot of ways, because what a lot of people use the material for is they use it to go in and get an inexpensive way to try new things, and they also use it to be able to collect things and keep them very easily for them when they're moving, you know, from place to place. Like I brought a bunch of books on my iPad instead of bringing a bunch of books in a bag. But for the most part, we're finding that we're exposing new people to the material, and we're actually getting emails all the time from people that are like, thanks for getting me back into comics. You know, I'd sort of forgotten about this, and you know, now I'm going back to the stores. And when you combine that with the things that Archie's already doing, you know, like to get into the newsstand with magazines like Life with Archie, I think that print has a very bright future as far as all that goes.
Next, yes, Stan. Oh, Stan, you have a question?
I have a question. Yeah, for 50 years I got a question.
Okay, and here it comes.
No, I love what you're all talking about. And I've had them over these many years working for Archie, and it's very, very exciting. I've never had this much excitement in a long, long time. And I can tell you my exciting moments during Archie, and I'll tell you these experiences. One was when Archie, not Archie, but Jughead, which always turned out to be the more popular character than Archie, in many respects, because he had a lot of different qualities that any young guy wouldn't have, he has. And so we found out one day that he was going to have either a brother or a sister. We found out his mother was pregnant. Now, it was written by a gentleman, another giant in the industry who worked for the company, named Al Hartley. I know Al Hartley when he both worked for Marvel Comics. And brilliant guy, just brilliant guy. And he put together these stories. We just enjoyed working together. You know, the camaraderie with the artists, and I have with the artists and writers, and certainly I met Alex once, and we were discussing how we met.
Yeah, you don't want to hear this story.
But luckily, we didn't come to blows.
No, we're good buddies.
We came to hugs.
I told you you didn't want to hear that story. You're going to start rumors now. Thank you.
But, so we carried that. This is like when you have something that we carried that through for 10 issues. How we did that for 10 issues? It was 5 issues devoted to the mother each month, the second month, third month, even going to the hospital when she found was ready to have a baby. And then, if you ever reprint those stories, they're marvelous, marvelous stories. And then it was another 5 issues of naming the little stories. Just think of that. And actually, when anybody know what Jughead's real name is? Forsyth.
I'm sorry, what was that?
Surrounded by
Forsyth. Forsyth, yeah.
Now, the baby, I forget what his real name is, but the baby wound up with a name called Jellybean. Why? Because on their way to the hospital, they couldn't make it to the hospital because it was a big 18-wheel truck that fell in the middle of the road. Everything was blocked, couldn't get through. And there was a truck delivering jelly beans. So we just had to poke them in the jelly. A doctor was on the next car. So everything worked out fine. And occasionally, I think she had her own book once in a while. But all these things, and another one. And I see what's happening up there, and I see what we did, but we didn't do enough of it years ago. And enough of it means, you know, the stories were great. And, you know, I think there's just 10 Archie stories in this world. Like there's only 5 jokes in this world. And there's always variations on that one joke. And there's only 10 Archie stories on, and there's variations on. And it's up to the artist and writer to take that theme, and make it as fresh and as possible as possible. And I think that's why the writers and Archie that existed for this particular company. I worked for Marvel, I worked for DC, and I got my start in all those places, spent many years with them, one of the years with Archie. I got that training, and it was a marvelous training because it's an industry you can't think and not put a pencil in your hand. You have to think and work at the same time.
Right. Right.
That kind of explains itself because I don't have the luxury of an advertising guy. And that kind of, you don't know what that means. But that's okay. I'm fine with that. It trained me to have out a teaching video now, which I told Victor a while ago. And on that is a big, big celebration